It's the Wickershire Project Unleashed. Before we got the solar set up, what did we use for power? Well, we used a little 7900 watt generator, and that broke down because it was from Harbor Freight. So if you come over here, we got this big boy. We picked that up from Tractor Supply. This is a 6,000 watt Champion. It's got the 30 amp RV plug in there. It's got 4 other plugs in there. And they're really simple to use, loud. This is 74 decibels. This thing is deafening. And again, that got old real quick, but we used it for a few days to run the air conditioner and to cook and heat up water and everything that need electrical. We used our generator. Comes with a wheel kit. That was kind of nice, and we've got it chained up to the house. So let's talk about this solar contraption. Here we have a string of 3 panels all connected together to make one panel. They're 390 watts apiece. These 390 watts are connected. These are the 420 watts connected as one. And the last 2 are 420 watt connectors as one. There's over 4,000 watts there, and it's plenty of power. They're not perfectly angled. Again, it's only temporary. But this is what's supplying the house with power. Back here, all we did was take some cinder blocks. We stacked them up till they were fairly level with the contour of the land. And these are 4x4 treated beams. And these are 12-foot lengths. And I've got 2 of them butted up together right there on these center blocks, and it runs the other length. Over here is the Midnight Breaker box. There's my fancy lock, aka stick. This camera would stay in focus for me. And they're set on DC breakers. And everything's wired into the negative bus bar, and all the positives are wired into the breakers themselves. Not complicated. It's a very simple setup. It works for us, and it gives us solar power while we're here. A more permanent solution, we'll figure that out later, show you what we do. So all the panels are connected in series. These 2, those 2, those 3, and these 3. And then they're all parallel together afterwards into that combiner box. That said, power comes up and out, goes onto a T-post. Got some isolators on here. I just wanted to know how they work. Great. Those run up and they're wired into the house. Mr. David Paws is watching. Yeah, I got my 10 gauge connected by, I know you're screaming at me right now not to do that. But again, it's a temporary setup. It's all I had, brother. My positive and my negative connection, which I taped with black tape just to let me know it was a negative, runs the length, goes into the solar charge controller. So everything on the property has to run in solar. That's right. There are no electrical grid coming in here. This is why it's an off-grid property. This is why we are off-grid. And we enjoy it. We want it that way forever. It's perfect. I don't like paying electric bills. Do you? No. 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 Nobody likes paying electricity bills. On the outside, we needed some lights for at nighttime. We picked up these little cute aluminum or steel painted lights that are solar. We got one on each side. There's one over there. They work. They're cool. We got some security lights. Look like street lights almost. We're on the side of the house. We got a solar light there. We got a solar light on the other side of the shed. Bugs, man. Won't leave me alone. I'm taping. Get out of here. I got another one there on the front door. We added some privacy to keep the sun out and a little bit of window treatments. Sharon just was happy with that, so makes her feel like more of a home and less of a shed. Washing dishes. That is a major problem when it comes to off-grid. If you're just temporary camping, I suggest, paper cups and plates. Styrofoam, not so much, but do what you got to do. It's a nightmare. I'll just tell you, it's a nightmare to get dishes clean. Our solution. So you need warm water to get off grease. It was one thing we had. We got these things late while we were camping here. They came in late. And that's that camp shower bag. And in the morning, this thing heats up. And that's warm. Not hot, it's just warm to the touch. So we hung up a solar bag. Sun comes up in the morning. It beats on this for about 4 hours. And it goes over the house. And hopefully by then we remember to do the dishes. Because down here is a slop sink. All our clean bowls. Dollar store soap, not great. A drop of this Dawn and it foams up like crazy. So yeah, even for $1, one drop of this with a good squirt of that onto the sponge works great. Do we let it drip onto the property? Well, if you were not a responsible person, you wouldn't just let it drip down and you'd have grease. And so our solution was, there's a black 5-gallon pail underneath there and it catches all the old water. Unless you have a better plan in place, capture your water and then dispose of it properly. Drip down and go into the compost pile. And that's the way we keep the compost pile moist and wet while it breaks down. The cooler we were using, and again I showed you the refrigerator, and that's a blessing just to have a refrigerator. We have cold water, cold drinks. We're able to buy cheese and meats and keep frozen chicken in there. Our off-grid water solution will include many of these 55-gallon poly drums. Most times they got vinegar or some kind of food in them, some shampoo, who knows. These here had molasses. So we'll be using these and we'll get them all strung together, and then along the gutters we'll build a rainwater collection system with a first flush and a leaf dumper to get rid of the leaves, and then we'll put a filtration system in there to get all the bulk of the material away, and that gets filtered. And then inside the house, once it's plumbed in, anything that we use for drinking water in the future will have a 2 or 3 filter system consisting of a paper cartridge, a carbon cartridge, and maybe possibly a ceramic cartridge. We're in Benton County, Tennessee, and it gets hot and humid here. And this is just a little tiny 5,000 BTU AC. Again, cold air is heavy, so while you're sleeping it sinks down low, keeps us nice and cool and dry. Again, the humidity is brutal here. Benton County, you can keep your humidity. We don't want it. Originally, that AC ran for a few hours off the solar battery when we had it temporarily set up. And then we ran it off the generator that I showed you guys. And right now, it completely and fully runs off of solar. Again, we have internet. That's that big 400-pound solar battery. There's our Outback solar charge controller. So solar panels come in, go directly to the battery. Battery out, it's got breakers on it. Battery out goes to that 6,000 watt inverter. That turns it to 120, 240 volt current, goes to the main panel, and then comes out on those sockets. Runs the microwave. Refrigerator is running. Got cold chicken in there, ice cubes. Inside here, the light's working. All the drinks are cold. How are we heating up our water for hot showers and to make coffee, instant coffee, oatmeal, all that kind of thing? This is a 1,500 watt, 1.7 liter heater element. And we're running it off the generator at first, and then we ran it off the solar battery now. I'll show you what that looks like inside there. Just has a typical heating element. And again, warm showers. Hot coffee, hot tea, hot ramen. Works for everything. 2:30 in the afternoon with shade. We're pulling about 700 watts because of the trees. And once those are removed, we'll pull in well over 1,500. We basically typically make 4 to 5 kilowatts a day. It's pretty average for the amount of sun we get. We're only getting 2 hours of good sun, and the rest is all shaded by the trees. Again, here's a quick shot of all the totes and everything inside the house. We basically put everything lined up in the center. The spray foam guy is going to come in. He's going to seal in all this. So we want to make sure everything's in the center. We can tarp this over and protect it.